Hi everyone, Intuitive Edge here. Welcome once again to my channel. Thanks for joining me. This is where we take an intuitive look at what's going on in our world. Today I'd like to take a look at what might be happening in the coming days. We're going to kind of peek ahead, see what we can see. And let's start off taking a look at the Ukraine. So as I was shuffling here a moment ago, as I was getting my cards out, getting ready to ask the question about the Ukraine, this card popped out. This is the Ace of Rods, Ace of Wands, same thing. Ace of Rods in this deck. This is my Aquarian tarot deck. So that card popping out, a card of new beginnings and a card of taking action. We may be seeing some new beginnings coming up in the Ukraine. Something new coming in, some new action being taken. So we're just taking a look at the next couple of weeks. What are we going to be seeing happening there? What's going to be in the news? That kind of thing. What do we need to know? The past, the present, and the future. Okay, here we go. All right, so next 2 to 3 weeks. In the news, we have the Eight of Swords. This is a card of restriction, a card of feeling imprisoned, not moving forward. The opposite of moving forward. Moving backwards, being trapped, being pinned. What we need to know is the Queen of Swords is on the case. I call this the no BS lady because she gets to the bottom of things and nothing gets past her. So it has something to do with this energy that is concealing or restricting things. Perhaps there's something that is in the way, and this woman here, represented here, she's on the case. This energy, I should say, the energy of this card, she's on the case to find out what's the problem. The past is the Hermit. The hidden is the Two of Wands, and the future is the Hierophant. All right. Underneath, which kind of flavors the whole thing, we have a messenger card, the Page of Wands. So the Hermit on the past. The Hermit on the past, the card of introspection, looking within, trying to see what the problem is. And this is for Ukraine. This is like soul searching and introspection. Looking for something. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of division, and a lot of things that are not as they appear to people in the West and to our media. But I'm getting a lot of disharmony, discord, and chaos in the past that led people to search for a way out or a better life or a better path. Seeking and searching. Oh, okay, I know what this is. I got it. There were many, many groups in the Ukraine that, as we know, as we saw what has played out in the past, they left a chaotic situation in search for more stability and wanted to perhaps be matched up back with the motherland, Russia. And that's what's being depicted here. If you can see, I look at the artwork and it tells me stories. So this figure here has got that lamp. And to me, this just represented discord and chaos and nothing matching up and feeling off center. And so this lantern he's holding, he's looking and searching for a better life. That's what led up to this. That's the past. Okay. Now, the hidden, we have the Two of Wands, the Two of Rods in this deck. This card is facing right back into that Hermit. The Two of Wands is also looking for a better future. The Two of Wands is about the future, and it also is looking ahead, but it is connecting somehow with this Hermit. I'm wondering if there's more on that I will be shown. But that's the hidden influence. And I'm kind of feeling a pull with this. Okay, I'll show it how I'm seeing it here. Okay, so here's this hermit figure. This is kind of facing into this, the way I have the cards laid out. So they're facing each other. And this card feels like it's pulling, like it's offering a better future. It's looking ahead, going, there is a future here. Holding the world or the globe represented there in his hands. And it's like there's a pull or a draw with this primal urge and this primal instinct to want to move, to find, go in search of something better. And there's a pull and a draw. That's the hidden influence there. Now the future, this is interesting for Ukraine, because this is a card kind of authoritarian. It's a card of, the Hierophant is like, how do you explain that? It's like you have to toe the line. You have to do the right thing. And the Hierophant is kind of controlling, and it can indicate conformity and kind of ruling a little bit. Customs, norms, wanting to do things by tradition. And that is the future indicated here for the Ukraine, is coming under a little bit more of a strict rulership. I think a lot of people don't really appreciate or understand the dynamic that's going on with the Ukrainian people and the Russian sects and all of that area there that's kind of been in flux for the last 40 or 50 years. And a lot of that area has a lot of history, and it's not black and white. It's not, oh, we have this, we are Ukraine and this is who we are. There's a melting pot, kind of like the United States. And a lot of people have different backgrounds and different cultures. And I don't think a lot, especially in the West, I'm speaking as an American, I don't think a lot of Americans really understand or appreciate what's really going on over there and what's behind the scenes and what's driving all of this. I think it has largely to do with people wanting to honor their heritage and their cultural customs and norms and go where they feel like they can honor that. And that's not being appreciated. It's being made to sound very different in our media than what I think is the truth of what's going on there. So I do think there is a big draw for people that feel like they are more Russian to move that direction. And I do sense this cracking down kind of figure here, the Hierophant. No, we are doing things by this rule. It's rules and regulations, and it's not about people, it's about control. That's the essence of the Hierophant. And so that's what I see on the future. But I think there's a lot at play here. We do have this messenger, this Page of Wands underneath. Pages are messengers, wands are about taking action. And having that ace pop out, we could see some new developments coming up maybe in the next few weeks with regard to this Ukraine situation. So that's what I have for this. So next, let's take a look at what is in the news. For the next few weeks, let's take a look at the United States. For the next couple of weeks, basically through the end of July, what do we have coming up that's going to be in the news, maybe clogging up the news cycle, if anything? What do we need to know or understand about issues coming up? What is the hidden issue What gives us hope? And what is the overall outcome? All right, so I got that. Let's see what we have here. So the first card in the news, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is a card of working on something, putting a plan of action, and actually getting down to business and working on something. What we need to know or understand, we have the Star next to it. This is the card of hope. It's a very hopeful card. Something could be being, let's see what message we get coming in, because I'm pulling into something possibly that's being worked on, but the hope is pulling it forward. So let me get the rest of the cards out, and then we'll see where the energy pulls me. We have the Hanged Man card on the Hidden, which is a card of self-sacrifice, being in limbo, having to give something up in order to gain something better. And that's interesting with that star card pulling right into that. Okay, the hope, what gives us hope, we have the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is looking back into the Hanged Man card. So we have the Nine of Wands here, Nine of Rods in this deck again. But a card of having to wait for something, a card of biding your time, and then the overall outcome, I was going to say overall income, overall outcome is the Seven of Cups, a card of kind of being overwhelmed or having a lot going on. And then the Four of Pentacles underneath. Okay, everybody hold on here. Hold the phone, as they say. All right. So I paused the video just to connect in with the cards and the storyline to see where this is going. And I felt an energy come in, as I do when I open up, and it says to me that if you want to play the game, you have to ask the right questions. And I thought, okay, what are the right questions? So I had to sit with that for a little bit and determine what are the right questions. So this is what I was sensing. It's about getting involved, but not in the way that we think. It's about strengthening our auric field. I heard that. It's about how to help others do the same. Then I heard connecting with Earth and using the energy of Earth as a shield, and then how to play the game. So what I'm sensing and feeling is that we can get dragged into the drama and then be consistently reacting to the drama, which fuels more fear, fuels more anxiety or whatnot. Or we can establish ourselves in a grounded energy source like the earth, anything that can ground us. And that will strengthen our auric field, which will in turn keep us shielded from being tossed and pulled and being off center. A lot of people who are, say, narcissistic or sociopathic, they like to get people off center, their victim, their intended target, to try to keep them off center so that they are more easily manipulated. Same thing with what we see happening today. The masses are being funneled into certain directions, and they're being more easily swayed and manipulated. And how to get involved is not to jump into that realm, but rather how to strengthen your own self and your own auric field so that you are not easily manipulated, and helping others do the same. So that's a little different way to look at what's going to be happening in the news in the next few weeks, which is what my question originally was about. So what I'm thinking is that this guide or energy that was communicating this information, there may be something coming up in the next few weeks that's going to try to get people off center, that's going to further try to manipulate the masses into thinking or feeling or doing things. And the key is to stay centered and not allow that to happen. That's the best way to become involved, by strengthening yourself. Kind of an interesting way. When I was looking at this Hanged Man card, what I was feeling centering in on this is everything is upside down right now. Everything is upside down. Nothing is as it should be. Things are in flux and chaos. But this Hope card, and I was looking closer, it's the star, the card of hope. But as I was looking at the star card, I believe this is like a phoenix. She's kind of rising out of, there's like some dark, sooty clouds, and these to me look kind of like tombstones. That's what I was seeing. So she's rising out of the ashes, and she's pointing to this hanged man that is still upside down. And he's not rightly connected. His feet aren't on the ground. He's not grounded. He's not connected. And I wonder if there is some energy that is trying to right that situation. And perhaps that's what that guide is trying to communicate, as I was sensing, is that the best way to get involved is to strengthen ourselves. And I do think there's a lot of people in this mode. This is the card of waiting and being on the sidelines, wanting to see what's going to happen next, but waiting for whatever. And this is like, she's looking back. Okay, I'll show you how these cards are looking at each other. She's looking back at this card, like waiting for this situation to right itself. And that's like, it's not happening, at least in the way that people want. Things are upside down and they're not getting fixed, and no one seems to know what to do. And that's why things are in chaos, which this card represents. Confusion, too much going on. What do we do now? How do we fix this? So that's what I think is going to be taking place, is some more of that chaos. Maybe until people learn to strengthen themselves and to not be so easily manipulated. There's a lot of work to be done in that area, but as people do that more and more, it will become easier. And the more people do strengthen their own selves, and the more that they disconnect from those powers that try to manipulate, the more life's going to be better for them. It's not going to be the tug of war that's constant. When you're off center, everything is in chaos. When you're grounded and centered, then you're like a fixture and your feet are solid and nothing can destabilize you, and it feels a lot better. So maybe I will take a look at that. I kind of leaving things open-ended, I realize that. But I think that the message is that to help people reconnect with themselves and let go of the drama and just not play the game by not playing along, and learning how to be maybe a knight on the chessboard instead of a pawn. So, all right, I'm going to leave that here. It's a little out there, but I think you can piece together what you need from that. Okay. All right. Blessings to each of you. Thank you for joining me today. And we'll be on shortly again. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.